Hi everybody, Renee here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am doing a psychic reading that is going to be timeless. This reading is going to focus on past lives and karma. Karma that might be playing over into this lifetime, events, emotions, attachments, issues that might be spilling over into this lifetime. That's what we are focusing on here. Not all past lives, just perhaps one past life of yours that might be spilling over into this one. And if you choose a pile and it doesn't seem to resonate, look at the other videos, look at the other readings as well, and maybe one of the other ones would be more for you. And this is a general reading as well, so kind of take what makes sense and leave the rest. I'm using 4 decks for this reading. I'm using the Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. I'm using, let's see, archetype cards, Carol and Miss. I'm using It's Your Karma cards. I just received these in the mail and they're really fun and fabulous. And I am using my Color Goddess casting cards for this reading. So here are the 3 piles in front of you, 1, 2, and 3. There's 3 cards here, and then for the rest of the reading, I'm going to shuffle the Carol and Miss archetype cards and see what else we can get for you. I am doing this reading intuitively. I'm using the cards intuitively. I'm not looking in the booklet. I'm going to be completely tuning in and doing and saying whatever I feel at the moment, which is how I do my readings anyway. So I do apologize if some of you know these decks, well, not my deck, but the other decks, if you know them really well, and you think what I'm saying doesn't agree with the booklet meaning or whatever, because this is how I work, it's intuitive. And that's how you're supposed to use oracle cards anyway. And I think most creators would say that they are intuitive tools. So again, pile number 1, pile number 2, or pile number 3, take a deep breath. And you can look down below at the timestamps and fast forward to your reading. Thanks. Hello, group 1. If you chose the first pile, this is your reading. So let's see where you lived in a past life. I apologize ahead of time for my squeaky chair, but it's comfortable, so I apologize. This is going to give you a location, a specific location where you lived in a past life and a time period. Wow. So you got Lemuria, 900,000 to 25,000 BC. And because this is a new deck, I'm going to put it right here and I'm going to read a little bit from the booklet about Lemuria. Here's the booklet. Very detailed deck. You get a little bit of a history lesson with each card. So Lemuria. Lemuria was an ancient civilization which existed prior to and during the time of early Atlantis. It's believed that Lemuria, often called Mu or the Motherland, was south of Hawaii. At its height, Lemurians were highly evolved and very spiritual. Even with no real evidence of Lemuria, many feel a deep connection to this era. James Churchward wrote several books such as The Lost Continent of Mu, M-U, in 1931, containing his theories. He stated that Mu had an incredibly sophisticated government, flowering culture, advanced scientific technology. Much of the Lemurian civilization lived in homes with transparent roofs. Their psychic abilities, such as telepathy, astral travel, and teleportation, were highly developed. Their genetic descendants are among the most influential and forward-thinking of man even today. So there's a little bit about Lemuria, or Lemuria. So that is saying that is where you were in one of your past lives. So let's look at one of the archetype cards here. I'm drawing more later, but here's the first one. Wow, so you got the warrior. So you did embody the warrior archetype as a living being in Lemuria. I'm going to put them up here. So let's see what color card you can get. Which one would make sense for you? Business, duty, and obligation. Absolutely. So this makes sense to me because I feel that as a warrior, as a protector of Lemuria, you probably felt that was your prime purpose, that was your job. This card is all about not neglecting your obligations. It is about paying attention to business ventures, paying attention to associates, also making lists of duties with an intention to complete them all. This goddess is someone who has lived long, worked hard, earned every single gray strand of her hair. She appears to remind you that your obligations need to be a priority, okay? A priority at this time, perhaps, at this time. You need to make careful calculations, make lists before making decisions. Do not hesitate to ask experts or wise elders for guidance, all right? So those are your messages so far. Let's shuffle some of the Carolyn Miss archetype cards and see what we get. And you know, for some of you, I feel you were a female warrior and others a male warrior. Protector. I get the word protector. Protecting Lemuria, protecting the land, protecting the inhabitants, the animals. I don't know a whole lot about Lemuria, but I feel that there had to have been groups within that were vegetarian or vegan, because I feel that you, even though you were a warrior and a protector, I feel that you were a vegan or vegetarian in this past life. That's what I'm tuning into psychically. So let's see what else we get. What other archetypes that you held or embodied in this past life in Lemuria. Let me shuffle it one more time. All right, so let's see what we get here. Wow, we have Hermit. Light attributes are seeking solitude to focus intently on inner life, serves personal creativity. And shadow attributes are withdrawals from society out of fear or negative judgments of others, refusing to help those in need. Wow, interesting, because it's kind of the opposite of what I'm getting for what you did here. I feel like you did some work for the greater good. So there's some kind of correlation here with your current life and the past life. Maybe in this lifetime you're playing the part of the hermit. And then, you know, in that case, your message is probably to try to think of the group, think of the community, okay? Think of others. Poet, okay. Light attribute is expresses soul insights in symbolic language, and shadow attribute is turns a lyric gift to negative or destructive effect. Okay, expressing your soul insights or turning it into something negative or destructive. Interesting. So even though there is the warrior card here and this business card, you know, duty, obligation, Lemuria, it's just as the book described, it's a very spiritual place in our history that some people believe existed. Very spiritual, enlightened beings were there. Psychic, clairvoyant. They were telepathic. They could teleport. So there is a lot of the emotional, creative energy that you would find in the poet. So I feel that even though you were a warrior, a protector, maybe you did kind of keep to yourself unless you were called upon and you were needed to protect. You were a poet and a mentor. Light attribute is passing on wisdom and refining a student's character. Shadow attributes are inability to allow the student to move on to the role of master, imparting false instruction. So what does this mean to you, Group 1? Some of these things might really resonate for you right now. Maybe one of these things, one of these archetypes is lacking in this lifetime. Maybe one of them you are overdoing it a bit. There needs to be a balance between your warrior self, the duties that you do to protect others, your alone time, your creative self, the poet, and then being a mentor to others. I do feel that many of you are probably parents. I get that warrior, business duty, obligation, mentor feeling for many of you in your parenting role or roles. But you are essentially a poet. You're a dreamer. You're probably clairsentient, clairaudient, or psychic. You probably are empathic and you cherish and love your time to yourself, to regroup, to gain energy, to recoup. Because when you're around people, maybe it kind of wears you out. You know, this is kind of what empaths need to do in general, is when they're around a lot of people, a lot of the time, they need to go home, have a sanctuary, have a safe place, a safe space where they can regroup, re-energize, and bring their energy back in and cleanse their energy and make sure they have no residuals from other people. So very interesting. I'm looking at the year here, 900,000, 25,000 BC. Interesting. This is a fascinating deck. And you see there's different roles or archetypes all the way around the card. And the way you use these cards are, you turn them over and you do that. You flick them while spinning them, and then whatever's at 12 o'clock, like in this case it would have been priestess, then that's what you were in that past life. But for this reading, I decided not to do that because I was going to draw these other archetype cards along with the past life, it's your karma cards. So again, you had a past life in Lemuria, you were a warrior, your business, your duty, your obligation was probably to the group, to protecting the group, protecting the lands, protecting the food, the crops, the area. You were somewhat of a hermit possibly, and that's when you would come up with your creativity, your creative outlets such as poetry or lyrics. I get the word lyrical for you as well, lyrics. And at some point you were definitely a mentor. So I feel that a lot of these attributes, archetypes, are playing out and spilling over into your current life, group 1. So know that these archetypes are probably those that you have mastered. Well, no, that's actually not true. I feel that some of these you've mastered and some of them you have not. So for example, let's say you feel like you've been the warrior and the protector in this lifetime. You've been the mentor, but you have not tapped into your creative side, your spiritual and creative side. Then that's what you need to do. Or on the other hand, if you've been tapping into the creative and spiritual side in this lifetime, you probably need to tap into the warrior, protector, business, and mentor side of you, of your soul's personality, so to speak. Because there needs to be, what I'm getting here psychically is there needs to be a balance between all of these in this lifetime. And of course there are more archetypes for you in this lifetime, but I'm only going to tap into these right now. So take a look at the cards. You can rewatch this section of the video if you want to listen to what I have to say about Lemuria, etc. again, and do whatever you can to achieve balance in your life in this lifetime. All right, there you go. Thanks for watching. Hello, group 2. If you chose the second pile, this is your reading. So let's see what this first card is for you. Now this is a location, a specific time and place in history where this past life occurred. So let's take a look. Wow. Native American Plains, 1000 BC to 1900. So what I'm going to do is set this down for a second, and I'm going to read a little bit in the booklet. Now this booklet is packed with historical information on each area, and each of these karma cards has a specific area on our planet and a specific time period as well. So it's really interesting and really in-depth, and I just adore it. So Native American Plains, 1000 BC to 1900. From the Rocky Mountains south to the Rio Grande and east to the Mississippi River, and included the Crow, Arapaho, Blackfoot, Cheyenne, Comanche, Goshute, Iowa, Kansa, Missouri, Ojibwe, Omaha, Paiute, Pawnee, Shoshone, Sioux Indians, and Ute tribes. This list is not definitive. So the energy of the era here is the Great Plains were ideal for grazing lands for the buffalo, which sustained the lives of this area's peoples. Most tribes followed a nomadic way of life, living in teepee homes. The Plains tribes' lives were greatly altered by the introduction of horses, which offered more mobility. They became mounted hunters in long-distance pursuit of the buffalo herds. Their way of life changed from fixed agrarian to nomadic hunting and gathering. Warfare also became hit-and-run mounted raids. So there we go. Lots of different indigenous tribes included in this card. So if you need to hear those again, just rewind the video a little bit and you will hear all the Native American tribes that are included in this card. This is what you were and where you were and when you were in a past life. Fascinating. It's just fascinating to me. I do past lives readings, but I haven't, I just recently found these cards and I love them and I'm using them in my own work. So this is the first archetype we're going to tap into for that Native American Plains past life that you were a part of. So we got the village. Yes, essentially being a part of a village, of a community of peoples, which completely makes sense because I know the Native Americans relied on the group. They relied on each other in order for their survival. Everybody had different roles: gathering, hunting, herding, seeking, pathfinders, hunt. I already said hunting, but yeah, all of those different roles of the Native American peoples. So let's take a look at the color goddess card for you. And it is burgundy, ambition, honor, and respect. So this tells me that you were probably very respected in your tribe. Part of the village, part of the group. You may have been a male or female, a chief or a shaman or an elder in general. This card also means being recognized for achievements, your ambition leading to success, allowing others to honor you. So being honored for your role in the tribe, in the group. Very interesting group too. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle and draw some of the Carolyn Miss archetype cards to see what else we get from this lifetime for you. So obviously one of the main archetypes is you being a part of the village, and I think with that burgundy is you being well known and respected in your village as an elder or a chief or a shaman or healer or a mother. Let's see what we get. So let me set these down. Wow. So the first card is Martyr. Light attribute, learning to the transcendent nature of service to oneself for a cause. Shadow attribute is addictions to self-pity. Wow. So you were definitely a martyr in this lifetime as well. You did all you could do for the group, for the village. We also have Vampire. Light attribute is makes you aware that someone or something is draining your life force. Shadow attributes are depleting others for your psychic survival, chronic complaining, and codependency. So definitely being aware of the energies around you. So far, it looks like you might have been a chief or a medicine man or medicine woman or a shaman. Being the vampire here, being aware of the energies around you. Wow, priest, there we go. It kind of answers our question here. A chief or a priest. Light attributes are facilitates spiritual commitments, serves as a channel of spiritual energy. Shadow attributes are violates the trust of your spiritual community, seduced by your own spiritual role. So you had group 2. You had a very spiritual high role here in this past life in the Native American Plains in these years, 1000 BC to 1900. And I am going to read the tribes just one more time because I want you to tune in and they might be ancestral to you, or one of these tribes, the name might resonate for you. So here the tribes are again. The Indian tribes, the Native American tribes: Crow, Arapaho, Blackfoot, Cheyenne, Comanche, Goshute or Goshute, Iowa, Kansa, Missouri, Ojibwe, Omaha, Paiute or Paiute, Pawnee, Shoshone, Sioux Indians, and Ute tribes. So whichever one resonates for you, I know at least, I'd say two of you that are going to watch this video are Shoshone. That I'm getting that very strongly. So let me know in the comments which one resonates for or with you. So you dedicated your life to the village, to the people. And I do feel that most of you in this past life were a woman, a female. I'm getting feminine energy rather than masculine. So I'm getting feminine healer or medicine woman or a feminine shaman. There's something with the feminine here. Even though, this could be a little bit masculine, burgundy being a darker color, a little bit more masculine, and vampire, somewhat masculine. I just feel like there's a lot of feminine energy coming through. But you definitely, the honor and the respect was very important to you, but even more important to you were the other people in your village, the entirety of your village. And you did your best to not really protect the village. Group one were more protectors. It's just aiding them into a better life. You were an aid. You were able to read energy. I feel you were able to see the future as well. You were able to see the future. You were able to see what crops would flourish and what would not. You were able to see, you had the knowledge and the wisdom of what was safe to eat and what was not safe to eat. You helped with the life, I can't think of the word. The regeneration, the life, what's the word? Oh my gosh. The continuation of life in your village. Let's put it that way. I can't think of the right word. I will later, probably as soon as I'm done with the video. But your main goal was to keep everyone safe, healthy, and alive. Procreation, keep the tribe alive. So you did many things. The martyr probably had to do more with trying different berries and foods yourself. Putting your life on the line to see what was safe to eat for everyone else. You knew the energy of the areas. If you felt negative energy, you knew there was danger. There was maybe a dangerous predator, a dangerous animal in that area, and you would not let the tribe move to that area. You would help direct them. And you also helped to soothe them spiritually. And I feel that I'm getting the word song. So there were songs involved as well. Singing songs. Being in a circle, a sacred circle, and leading these chants and songs. I feel that very strongly for most of you here. Very interesting. So if you're not, if you don't feel like any of these are happening in this lifetime, maybe you should look to try to incorporate some of these archetypes in this lifetime. Think of the village, think of your home, your family, your community. Think of how important it could be if you were to be honored and respected. Think about your spiritual side. Think about what you would do, what you would sacrifice for the greater good. And of course, if this reading doesn't resonate really at all, then look at the other two. Look at the other two readings. But I do feel like most of you, if you're watching this, you know exactly what this is talking about. You've probably had dreams about this past life. You've probably had a connection to Native American artwork and jewelry and people and the areas, sacred grounds. And I feel like it's just a very strong tie to you, for you. And you know it intuitively. So very interesting reading group too. I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks so much for watching. Hello, Group 3. If you chose the third pile, this is your reading. So first we're going to take a look at the It's Your Karma card. Now these cards are fascinating. They're amazing. I love them. Each of them has a specific time frame and a specific location in history to where you lived in a past life. So let's find out where and when you were alive in a past life, Group 3. Wow, you got the French Revolution, 1715 to 1804. I'm going to set that here for a second because I am going to read a little bit from the booklet. This is chock full of historical information because it's relevant to this lifetime, and the author, the creator of the deck, really did a great job. This is a fabulous deck for past life readings, which I do. I do past life readings. But I recently got this deck, and I'm going to be incorporating it even more in my readings. So, all right, France Revolution, 1715 to 1804. This is where you were in one of your past lives. The history of the era reads, commoners made up the bulk of France's population and resented the excess of the nobility and some clergy. Innovative thinkers questioned the old regime, promoted free commerce, championed equal rights, and the abolition of the class system. On July 14, 1789, the French Revolution began when a Parisian mob stormed the Bastille prison. On August 26, 1789, revolutionaries issued the Declaration of the Rights of Man, which stated liberté, égalité, and fraternité, thus ending the class system. Louis XVI and many others were guillotined. Very interesting. Wow, there you go. So that is where and when you were in a past life, Group 3. Now we're going to look at an archetype of who you were in this past life. All right, we got the crone, which is a female who lived a long age and who perhaps was looked up to as a wise woman, a knowledgeable person. Let's take a look at your Color Goddess casting card and see what else we can get about this past life. All right, this makes total sense to me. You got purple, which is dignity, nobility, prominence. This card is about demeanor and conduct being important for you, reaching a point of prominence in your work or career, retaining your dignity when dealing with others. So I feel for you, Group 3, you were probably royalty. So as you can see on the color card, there's the crown, there's the fleur-de-lis, the king and the queen chess pieces specifically because it means royalty. And being the crone means you were perhaps a queen or a princess or empress or whatever, some type of royalty here in France from 1715 to 1804 at some point in that time period. Very interesting. So if you want to learn more, just Google some more about that. Who was the ruler of France during the French Revolution? I'm not good at history, or I could probably answer that for you. I wish I could, but I'm not a history buff. So let's see what else we got with the Carolyn Miss archetype cards. So some of these archetypes that we've gotten here so far with the cards might have spilled over into this life. You may be a respected, wise person in this life. You may be the matriarch of your household, or you might be in a position of power in this lifetime. Something akin to nobility or royalty. Let's see what else was going on in this past life, Group 3. One more quick little shuffle. I feel like that's good. All right, so we have beggar. Light attributes. Confronts empowerment at the level of physical survival. Awakens the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. The shadow attribute is dependence on others to the exclusion of effort. I feel like this probably wasn't you. This was probably, well, it could have been an archetype. Maybe you grew up as a beggar or poor, and then you reached, at some point you reached a place of nobility, or for a short period of time you were a beggar, or maybe you were imprisoned for a short period of time. Very interesting. And again, all of these are going to be, or could be, playing out in this lifetime right now. So let's see what else we can get. So we got athletes, so something with physical fitness, physicality. Light attributes are dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps, development of personal willpower and strength of spirit. Shadow attributes are misuse of athletic ability for selfish needs or ends, false sense of invulnerability, and entitlement. So we've got physicality here. And the third card is scribe. Light attribute is preserving knowledge and information. Shadow attribute is altering facts or plagiarizing others' works. So what I'm tuning into here psychically for you, group 3, is that for some of you, maybe even most of you, you were royalty in this time period. You were on the throne. You were the queen or the empress. You were royalty or the princess. And something happened. I feel that these two, they're telling me that in your older age, you might have been imprisoned, you might have been infirm or handicapped in some way. Someone took over the kingdom, someone stripped you of your crown. Something happened with this, where you lost your place of nobility. There might have been some things written about your life, so you could have been someone famous. Do some searching online. Find out more about French during the Revolutionary period, 1715 to 1804. You may have been a writer. You might have written memoirs, your own memoirs. But psychically, I am tuning into things being written about you. Now, I'm not sure who this is supposed to be. Is it Marie Antoinette? Maybe. I'm not saying you were her in this life, but it's possible you were her, someone like her, or someone in her class. Maybe not the same exact time period as her, but that's definitely what this reading is pointing to for me, if this is her, which I feel like it probably is. Or it's some other French empress or queen. So what do you need to work on in this lifetime? Or what went wrong in this lifetime? I feel that maybe some of you in this position of power were a little bit abusive of it. You maybe didn't pay enough attention to the so-called peasants in your area, in your kingdom, if you will. And they were angry, and they revolted, or someone revolted and someone got angry and someone captured you or imprisoned you or something happened. Or you got physically attacked or something. I'm definitely getting something with the legs. So if you do have leg issues in this lifetime, that would be playing over from this past life. If you do enjoy writing, that would be something that's passed over again from this past life. But the lesson, I'm getting the word lesson, and the lesson here for you, group 3, is to pay attention to all the people. Don't abuse the power. Know that you are wise and you are strong, but pay attention to those who are less fortunate than you, is the main message I'm getting. Maybe you learned this lesson in this particular lifetime in the past, and maybe in this lifetime you are an altruistic person. You are involved in many charities. Then this in the past would explain why. Because you did not learn the lessons here in the past. So in order for your karma to become balanced, this lifetime is a lifetime of service and giving to others, if that makes sense. Let me see what else I can tap into for you, group 3. Some of you might have been extremely athletic, could have been, and I am getting female because of this illustration and because of crone, but some of you could have been very physically fit or done something remarkable with your physical body, such as archery or horseback riding. What do they call it? Equestrianism. You might have done something remarkable with that, with the physical body as a sport, or whatever was considered a sport back then, such as archery or horseback riding or something along those lines. So some of you might be really good at things like that, older sports that were prevalent here in this time period. Pretty interesting. One message I am getting for many of you is to start writing again. I feel that many of you have put it off or have not been writing as much in this lifetime or as of late, and it really is your creative outlet. It's really the only card here that points to some type of spiritual creative outlet, except for the crone, which is a wise woman or sage. But you need a creative outlet is a message I'm getting to pass on to some of you in group 3 here. So start writing again. Whether it's just journaling or writing that story about your life. I get some of you wanting to write memoirs about your life, which would be fantastic for you because I feel like that's what you did in this past life as well. Pretty interesting. I hope you enjoyed this reading, group 3. Watch it again if you need to take it all in. See you next time. Bye.